At first, I thought the gym was good for her. She'd been tired, restless, searching for something. If lifting weights made her smile again, I was fine with it. But soon, things felt different. Her workouts became longer. Her outfits tighter. Makeup for a treadmill didn't make sense. She left the house smelling like perfume, not sweat. She said it helped her confidence. I told myself not to overthink. But her phone never left her hand. Face down on the counter. Notifications silenced. She started locking the bathroom door. Late night showers. Quick smiles that didn't reach her eyes. The trainer's name popped up too often, Ryan. A guy who called everyone bro and winked too much. I met him once when I dropped off her AirPods. He smirked like he knew something I didn't. "Take care, big guy," he said, walking away. My gut twisted. Still, I tried to believe her. She said they were just working on form. I guess that was one way to put it. She came home glowing. Not tired, not sore. Just happy. But not with me. The kids would ask for her. She'd scroll through her phone, ignoring their voices. Dinner went cold on the table more than once. When I asked about the trainer, she laughed. "You're jealous of a guy who counts my reps." I didn't answer. I just watched. Patterns, times, gaps in her day. I deal with schedules for a living. You notice when numbers stop lining up. Her workouts always during lunch hours. Her gym bag always too full. Then the receipts started showing up. Uber rides in the middle of the day. Hotel charges I didn't recognize. She said they were system errors. But the system doesn't book rooms at noon. Still, I stayed quiet. If I accused her too early, she'd twist it. That's how liars win, by flipping the story first. One night, I checked the home cameras. A silver sedan pulled into our driveway. Ryan got out, gym bag in hand. He punched in our door code and walked right in. No knock, no text, no hesitation. I froze. He left 90 minutes later. Same calm stride, same bag. Nothing romantic on camera, but it didn't matter. The timestamps matched the Uber rides. Same hours, same pattern. Tuesday, Thursday every week. She'd tell me she was doing yoga. Maybe she was, just not the kind that needed a mat. I didn't explode. Didn't confront. I just started collecting. Every receipt, every message, every piece of evidence. Because truth doesn't need shouting, it needs proof. And one day soon, I knew I'd have all of it. Until then, I let her smile. Let her think she was safe. Because sometimes silence is the loudest preparation. And I was already building my case. Saturday morning came quiet. The kids were watching cartoons. Megan was still asleep upstairs. I'd been up since 6, printing everything. Receipts, screenshots, camera stills. I placed them neatly into a black binder. Labeled each section with sticky notes. Hotel charges, text messages, door logs. Even my work schedule, for proof of absence. No yelling, no drama, just order. At 10, she walked downstairs, hair tied, smoothie in hand. She looked relaxed. I placed the binder on the table. She frowned. "What's that?" "Everything," I said. She laughed like I was joking. Then she opened it. Her face changed slowly. Eyes scanning every page, every timestamp. Hotel emails, Uber receipts, camera frames of Ryan at the door. "You went through my stuff?" she asked. "You used my card," I replied. Her lips tightened. "You're unbelievable." "No," I said, "you are." She leaned back on the couch, arms crossed. "I had needs, Ethan. You weren't around." "I was working, for us." She rolled her eyes. "You worked to avoid me." I pointed to the hotel bills. "You avoided me just fine." For a moment, silence. Then she said, "You could have talked to me." "I did, you just weren't listening." She stood up, grabbed her phone. You're controlling. You spy on me. You cheated in our home, I said quietly. She paused at the stairs, voice shaking but not from guilt. You made me feel invisible. Ryan made me feel alive. I wanted to yell. Instead, I just said, then be alive somewhere else. She packed a bag without another word. An hour later, she was gone. No goodbye to the kids. Just silence and the faint smell of her perfume. By noon, her mother called me. You're destroying her, Ethan. She made a mistake. I hung up. Mistake doesn't repeat 6 times in the same hotel room. That night, the doorbell rang. A man in a suit handed me papers. Megan had filed first. Claimed emotional neglect, control, and abandonment. She wanted full custody, the house, and child support. It was surreal. She cheated, and somehow I was the villain. I sat at the kitchen table, binder still open. Every lie in black and white. Every mistake with a timestamp. I didn't cry. I didn't even get angry. I just felt numb. I realized then, people like her rewrite stories to survive in their own minds. And I was done being her villain. The next morning, I called a lawyer. He didn't ask much. Just one question. Do you have proof? I looked at the binder. Yes, I said. Good, he replied. Then we start fighting back. And that's when the silence finally ended. Robert was his name. A lawyer built from steel and long hours. He flipped through my binder without emotion. No surprise, no sympathy, just calculation. When he finished, he nodded once. You've got everything we need. He drew a quick plan on yellow paper. Separate finances today, close joint cards, gather work logs, school records, doctor visits. His tone was cold, efficient. Don't speak to her directly again. Let her lawyer talk to me. I followed every step. By noon, my paychecks were rerouted. By evening, our shared account was frozen. Every trail she used to live off me, gone. Robert smiled slightly. Now she'll panic. He was right. The next morning, Megan posted on Instagram. A photo of her meditating under sunlight. Caption read, losing everything fake, finding everything real. Comments flooded in, friends calling her brave, radiant, healing. They didn't know she paid for hotels with my card. She changed her bio to single mom, unapologetic, rising. I didn't reply. Silence is stronger than revenge. Robert built the legal side, while I built the proof. Teacher letters, daycare sign-in sheets. Every document showed I was the one showing up. Drop-offs, pickups, doctor calls. Megan's name barely appeared. Robert organized it all like a war map. We'll go for 70-30 custody, he said. No alimony. She lost that right. A week later, Megan's tone shifted online. Now she posted cryptic quotes. Real women choose peace over pain. Translation, she was losing control. Her best friend, Nicole, jumped into the comments. Men fear strong energy. I screenshotted that too. Every word became ammunition. Then came mediation day. Megan walked in late, wearing beige like it was armor. Sipped iced coffee like she owned the room. Her lawyer started talking about emotional trauma. Robert didn't blink. He slid forward the daycare records. Every signature, mine. Every attendance sheet, mine again. He followed with medical records, financials, and her social media posts. Her lawyer tried to argue intent. Robert cut him off. Intent doesn't pay the mortgage. Megan tried to smile. You're twisting everything. I've been healing. The mediator asked, Are you employed, Ms. Collins? She hesitated. I'm pivoting into digital wellness. Robert handed over her account statements. No deposits, just yoga classes and online seminars. The room went silent. The mediator nodded slowly. Continue documentation. We'll reconvene. Outside, Megan strutted to her car like she'd won. Nicole waited, phone ready for another healing update. I walked past without a word. Robert's hand tapped my shoulder. Don't gloat, let her dig deeper. That night, she texted me. I think we both made mistakes. Let's meet and talk. Robert said, don't answer. I didn't. Because when someone's already rewritten the story, your silence becomes the final edit. The courthouse smelled like coffee and nerves. Thursday morning, 9 a.m. sharp. Robert stood beside me, calm as stone. 3 boxes of evidence lined the bench. Custody, finances, conduct. Megan entered like she was walking a runway. Beige suit, perfect curls. Her heels clicked too loud for the room. She smiled like this was her stage. Even the judge looked tired already. He was an older man, gray hair, heavy stare. He flipped through the files and spoke flatly. We'll start with custody. Megan's lawyer stood first. She's the primary caregiver. The children need stability. Robert slid a folder forward. Daycare logs, school signatures, all under my name. The judge raised an eyebrow. Megan shifted in her seat. Her lawyer tried again. She may not sign everything, but she's emotionally present. Robert didn't even look up. This court deals in facts, not feelings. The judge nodded once. Proceed. Then came the financial review. Robert laid out charts, receipts, pay stubs. Mortgage, insurance, food, daycare, all me. Megan's column was empty. Her lawyer mumbled something about unpaid labor. The judge cut him off. This is not a philosophy class. Megan crossed her legs, forced a smile. When the social media section came, Robert took his time. He handed the judge a printed reel of Megan dancing in a field. The caption read, "Real mothers stay, real men pay." The judge stared at it for a moment. Ms. Collins, is this your account? She nodded. It's art, healing expression. Calling your husband dead weight is not therapy, the judge said. Her cheeks flushed, but she didn't stop smiling. Then came the final question. The judge leaned forward. Do you dispute the evidence of infidelity? Megan folded her arms. It wasn't cheating, she said softly. It was accidental. The judge blinked. Accidental. She nodded. We were stretching, I slipped. Someone coughed to hide a laugh. Robert stayed still, expressionless. The judge rubbed his forehead. For the record, he said slowly, accidental infidelity is not recognized in the state. Megan glanced at her lawyer, desperate for rescue. None came. The ruling was quick. Joint legal custody. Primary physical custody to me. She'd get weekends and one midweek evening. No alimony. No claim to the house. She had 30 days to move out. When the gavel hit, she flinched but tried to look unbothered. As we walked out, she whispered, You only won because you make more money. I stopped. No, I said. I won because I told the truth. She looked away. By the time I reached the car, Robert handed me the signed order. Justice doesn't always shout, he said quietly. Sometimes it just stamps the paperwork. And that's how the lie finally broke in daylight. The court order was signed on a Thursday. By Friday, she was already breaking it. First, she posted a photo of the kids. Caption said, My whole heart always safe with mommy. Second, she called the school pretending I was unstable. Told them to list her as the main contact again. The principal called me right away. I drove down, calm but tired. Showed them the official custody order. They apologized. I said, You don't need to be sorry, just keep records. Because with Megan, everything needed evidence. That weekend was her first visit. Pick up at 10, drop off at 6. She showed up at 11:45. No apology, no shame. Just sunglasses, designer boots, fake smile. I needed time to realign my energy, she said. The kids looked confused. My son asked why she was late. She said, "Daddy's rules are too strict. Mommy believes in freedom." At 3 p.m., I checked her social media. 4 boomerangs, 1 selfie. Captions about motherhood and court oppression. One video had my daughter in the background, eating fries. "When you're the real parent, the kids just know," she said. I downloaded it immediately. Sent it to Robert. He filed a violation, notice that afternoon. Megan didn't care. She dropped them off at 6:40, still smiling. "They cried for you," she said. "You should have called, they missed you." "It's your court time," I replied. "You don't check in when you have them." She sighed. "You're raising robots, Ethan, not kids." I didn't answer. The next day, my son asked quietly, "Dad, why did Mom say you don't love us as much?" I told him the truth. "Your mom is figuring things out. What matters is I'm here." He nodded. I logged the conversation with time and context. Robert said it was good practice. 2 weeks later, she showed up again with Nicole, her self-proclaimed healer friend. Vape pen, long lashes, cheap perfume. They called it a spiritual parenting session. My daughter spilled juice, and Nicole yelled at her. My son said they meditated for half an hour. When he asked for his tablet, Megan told him screens rot brains. Then said, "So do men like your dad?" I didn't prompt them. Just filmed their stories when they came home. Robert added the video to the custody file. The pediatrician wrote a note. Emotional instability after visits. Megan emailed me that week. "You're poisoning them, turning them into spies." Then she wrote, "They'll come back to me when they're older." I sent it straight to Robert. He replied through legal channels. All future contact through counsel. I focused on my home. Meal plans, bedtime, homework. The house stayed quiet, steady. While her life spiraled, mine finally made sense again. And each violation she made wasn't chaos anymore. It was proof that peace had chosen the right side. 3 months passed after the court order. Megan kept testing limits. Late drop-offs, hidden insults online. Healing quotes that sounded like blame. She tried enrolling the kids in a wellness academy. No curriculum, no structure. The kind of place that calls tests, energy assessments. The principal called me before it went too far. I thanked him and documented everything. Robert filed for enforcement again. The judge restricted her educational decisions. That door slammed shut for good. Next exchange, she acted calm. "Let's put this behind us," she said. "The kids deserve peace." "So do I told her. She hesitated, voice soft. "Do you really think I meant to hurt you? It was an accident." My son looked up. "You slipped again." Her face froze. I didn't laugh, but something inside me finally eased. Because truth doesn't argue, it just exists. By August, her posts slowed down. The healing era disappeared from her bio. Nicole vanished from her life like smoke. Megan moved back with her mother. Her cousin told me she'd tried applying for a coaching job. They found her social media and rejected her. I didn't celebrate, I just exhaled. One night, she messaged me through the parenting app. "I'm sorry, maybe someday we can talk like adults." I marked it as read. Silence was my closure. Because forgiveness doesn't mean reopening the door. It just means locking it without hate. Then life shifted quietly. A friend introduced me to someone, Lauren. A nurse, no filters, no spiritual jargon. She asked about my kids before asking about my job. Our first date was coffee and a walk in the park. No tension, no performance. Just 2 people breathing without pretending. She listened, really listened. When she met my kids, she brought coloring books. Not gifts to impress, just kindness. My daughter hugged her after an hour. My son asked if she could come next time. She smiled. "Only if your dad says yes." That night, she helped make dinner. No talk about energy, no cameras. Just food, laughter, normal life. I realized peace isn't loud, it's consistent. Weeks later, Megan found out. Posted a quote online. It hurts when you're replaced by something basic. I ignored it. The last time I saw her, she wore no makeup, hoodie pulled tight. Didn't say a word, just nodded. She looked like the show was over, and the crowd had left. And maybe that was mercy. Because some endings don't need revenge. They just need distance. Now the house is quiet again. Homework, dinner, bedtime stories. Real laughter, not curated ones. And when I close my eyes at night, I finally understand. Truth doesn't need to shout. It just needs a man who never stopped showing up. The house feels different now. Quieter, steadier. No more tension hiding in small talk. The kids laugh again, without watching the door. Lauren cooks on Sundays, while music hums in the background. We take walks after dinner. No phones, no filters. Just real life unfolding slowly. Sometimes I still think about Megan. Not with anger, just distance. She'll always call it an accident. But some accidents are choices dressed as fate. The truth was never dramatic, it was patient. It waited through every lie until proof arrived. People think closure comes with apologies. It doesn't. It comes when silence feels like peace, not punishment. I stopped checking her social media. Stopped wondering if she changed. Maybe someday she will. But that's not my story anymore. My story is small moments that actually mean something. Homework help, warm coffee, quiet mornings. Love that doesn't need to prove itself. Because when you live in truth, you stop chasing the noise of people who fell out of it. And that's how I finally knew. The storm was over.